Right, hello everyone, and welcome to the JLR YouTube podcast. And welcome, this is the third episode of Broken Sword 2: The Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. So, where do we start? Well, we'll start with a small review from the last couple of episodes. So we're playing George and Nico, the two main characters from, obviously, the original Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars. And before, I forgot this in the first episode, but spoiler warning, if you haven't played the Broken Sword, the Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars, you should stop this and watch the video that I made, the videos that I made, walkthrough and review videos of Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars on YouTube that I did last year. And then, or if you don't care about the spoilers, then you can just continue watching this. Anyways, so yeah, George and Nico are our heroes that saved the world from the Neo Templars are back at it again. This time, something to do with the Mayan stone. Where could it lead? So what happened was George went away for a half a year because his father was dying, and I presume he's dead, probably. And then he finally came back to Paris to meet with Nico again after being half a year away. But she decided to meet with this Professor Ubier about this Mayan artifact, because he was supposed to be a professor in Mayan artifacts and stuff like that. And also was a guy who was importing Mayan artifact to the country, which we found out later, to France, from a city called Quaramonte in Central America. Anyways, so what happens? So much commotion. Like, the guy who answered the door wasn't Professor Ubier, but it was a guy named Pablo who knocked out George, and then there was a guy called Titipoco who had a blowgun and shot a dart at Nico and knocked her out. And havoc ensued. There was a poisonous spider, and then there was the house on fire. But George managed to escape all that, and then we met up again with Andre Labino, and he told us more about where we could get Mayan artifact. That was from the Glees Gallery, and then after finding out more evidence at the Glees Gallery about where Professor Ubier got his artifacts, it was through a company called Condor Transglobal, which was based at a dock in Marseille, and we ended up going there in the last episode. It was basically the last episode was all about being at the dock at Marseille, where we had to get past this vicious dock. We had to, trick him to hop into the ocean. Well, it was on a plank, and then we pulled it down, and he fell into the ocean. And we were able to get past this mean security guard, but then mean security dog. But then we had to trick Pablo as well. As first we tried to pretend we were a pizza delivery guy, and we got ourselves killed. But then we were able to fool him by we went on this this second floor and threw a barrel at him, basically. And not actually throw the barrel, but it was like on one of those things. What was it again? I forgot. Anyways, but yeah, we barrel rolled him. And then we found this Titipoco guy, but he was all tied up in manacles, I think. And we freed him. And it seemed like the Pablo guy was very mean to him, actually. So maybe he's not on his free will there. The blowgun guy, the guy with the darts. And we found finally Nico, and Nico explained everything that had happened. So this Karsak guy, this General Kazak, is using what is it called? Global. What was it? Condor Transglobal. Sorry. Condor Transglobal. He's using that. Like, it's supposed to be sending Mayan artifacts to the France, but it's actually a cover-up for smuggling. drug smuggling. That's what narcotics. That's what Nico thought. But then she found this stone. Someone gave her his stone instead of actually any narcotic evidence. So she needed to find out more information about the stone. But then obviously what happened at Professor Zubia's house happened. So obviously the stone has quite a significant meaning, but they still don't know, both George and Nico. But they were at the glass, after escaping, they were at the glass gallery again, and they were talking to Lobino, and they were talking they knew about the city Quaramonte. And then the glass, was it the guy at, what was his name? Police, the guy at the glass gallery there, who said he was, what was his name again? Was it Glees? Glees Gallery, right? His name was Glees. Sorry, not Glass. Glees Gallery. And but yeah, he was like interrupting us. He's like, "Oh, Quaramonte, that's where Ubir gets his artifact." So we were certain that what could now we're on this. Like George and Nico never give up. Once they're in once they enter the adventure, they won't get out of it, right? Even though they're safe, but they still have the stone. We need to find out more why this Karsak guy really wants the stone. So instead of playing it safe, they just we're gonna go to Quaramonte. So that's what George does when someone tries to threaten him or his girlfriend. He's gonna get those bastards. So yeah, Quaramonte City seemed like the perfect lead, and so they immediately went to Quaramonte City on a boat, a big ship, and that's where we ended last time. We had just arrived in Quaramonte. I hope that explains enough. So like I said, yeah, we have the stone. Where are the things?
It was the black obsidian stone which had been sent to Nico. One side bore a grotesque image of a dog's head. The other was blank.
Other was blank, but this one has a dog's head. But it's not really a dog, is it? But yeah, and we also found this fetish.
It was the flint statue I'd found in the warehouse at Marseille.
It's supposed to be a weird creature with a shield and also a spear, holding a spear. And we have all these different things. So we really don't only have this stone. We're looking for Condor Transglobal. That's supposed to be a smuggling operation, under that company. But yeah, need to find more about this stone. We need to just go ask around here. So there's a guard here. Let's see.
It was an armed guard looking after the barrier.
Shall we ask him about Condor Transglobal or the stone or whatever?
Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. Can we get a cab to the capital?
This is the capital, Quaramonte City.
This is the only place. We can only ask about the ship, nothing else.
When's the next ship out of here?
But, senor, don't you like our beautiful country?
We had just arrived, so we can't really judge it. Why would you be so negative from the start? Just be nice about it.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little piece of paradise right here on Earth.
Then why you wanna leave?
I'm just plain homesick. Like it says in the song.
A word of warning, senor. If you feel like bursting into song, bite your tongue.
Huh?
There are official restrictions on music in Quaramonte.
Restrictions on music?
How come music is restricted in Quaramonte?
It is part of the great cultural enrichment campaign. Traditional Quaramonte music is considered unsuitable for these fast-moving times. Nuestra Señora has decreed that only one category of music is suitable.
What's that?
Easy listening.
Easy listening? So, traditional music is forbidden. Let's ask about the ship.
We've had enough. We're going back to the ship.
Okay. You show me your brown card?
Huh? What brown card is that?
The official exit visa.
We don't have an exit visa. Okay. There's nothing else we can say. Talk to this guy about. So he's talking about music being traditional folk music being not allowed, but we have musicians here, a band. Let's look at the band.
A couple of musicians stood watching life go on around them. They look pretty depressed.
Depressed? Maybe the reason is that They cannot play folk music. Only easy listening? That's just ridiculous.
Hey, cheer up, guys. What's with the long faces?
Our pipe player has been arrested and thrown in jail.
Poor Miguel. He never broke the law in his life.
So they don't have their pipe player? I'm guessing this might... Well, let's ask about the ban on music. Traditional
Why don't you
music.
try playing a tune to cheer yourselves up?
No, we should be looking for real jobs.
We could earn 10 times as much down the mines. My cousin Ramirez was earning 8 pesos an hour.
Before he lost his legs in the accident.
Accident? There was an accident at the mine? Well, maybe before we're talking about the accident, let's talk about their pipe player.
Why was Miguel put in jail?
For playing folk music.
What?
It's true, senor. He insisted on playing traditional Quaramonte music, even though it's illegal.
So it's true. They're arresting people for playing traditional music. That's pretty weird. Let's ask about this dig.
Tell me about the accident at
The mine. Sorry.
There was an explosion at Teoculcan. 30 miners were buried alive.
They got some of them out, though.
2 of them, including your cousin, and they left half of him behind.
Explosion at the mine. There's a Quaramonte mine company here, not far from where we are. We could ask more about this explosion there. Let's ask about the stone, if they know anything about it.
Have you any idea what this is?
No, senor.
Me neither.
I have no idea what the stone is. Nothing at all. What about the other weird statue?
Have you seen anything like...
I, the hungry chief.
Why are you carrying that thing around with you, senor? Don't you know who it is?
No. Do tell me.
It is Tezcatlipoca, god of death and blood.
It's Tezcatlipoca. Now we have a name for the statue. Tezcatlipoca. A very mean-looking god in their eyes. Okay. We can ask about Condor Transglobal.
Take a look at the design on this label.
I have seen that before.
Yeah.
Where?
There was a ship flying a flag just like that.
When did you see this ship?
3 months ago. It was here, at the docks.
So we're definitely on the right path. So let's ask about Condor Transglobal then.
What was the ship with the condor flag carrying?
I don't know, senor. We weren't allowed near the docks.
That's right. Usually we meet the ships when they tie up.
We play to the tourists.
Well, when the Condor ship came in, we were told to go away.
Really? Sounds fishy, right? Why wouldn't they be allowed near the Condor ship? Is there anything we can ask about?
Do you guys know anything about a total eclipse?
What
What
is
was-
it?
It's like when the sun is hidden by the moon.
It's crazy.
My cousin Alfredo swears he saw it happen once. But that was after he stupidly consumed a cocktail of peyote and antibiotics.
What? What kind of crazy cocktail is that? Shall we show him the worm?
What do you make of this little worm?
No good. It's dead.
Sure it's dead. You think I'd carry it around in my pocket if it wasn't?
You're crazy, George. What about the dog biscuits?
Would either of you guys care for a biscuit?
A dog biscuit, senor?
Are you trying to insult us?
No, really, they're good.
We'll take your word for it.
All right, we have nothing else to say. So, as you can see, the difference between Broken Sword and Broken Sword 2 is now the items will just come up here at the bottom with the other subjects you can talk about. But not all the items will appear as an option. So, could you, like they never talked about the call, could you actually select the call and try to ask them about it? If you go to the band, show them the call, what happens?
I decided to leave it.
Basically, there's nothing we can say about it, right? So you would think that option wouldn't work to show someone an item that we couldn't talk about. But what is this?
Now, I like most animals, but experience had made me wary of goats, and cats, and dogs.
Well, we know definitely why a goat, because the goat in Loch Marn was really nasty. So you would think we couldn't do anything with this goat here. See? Just lifts up his arms, and nothing we can do, right? Well, there might be something hidden here if we select this coal and give it to the goat. See what happens?
What was that? It's a lump of lucky coal. Coal? I would have preferred chocolate. Any flavor, so long as it hasn't got marzipan in it. God, I hate marzipan. You can talk. I mean, you're a talking goat. Keep your voice down. This is between you and me, right? Well, I guess so. Now, I mean it. You tell anyone you've spoken to me, and you'll be cursed.
It's a talking goat. That's just quite the Easter egg in this game. So if you think the goat sounded like George, that's because it's the same actor, Rob Saxon. So that's kind of weird. There's a poster here next to the goat. What is this?
It looked to me like an early portrait of Orson Welles.
Orson Welles? Can we do something with this poster?
In Quaramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense.
Yeah, we should probably not touch it. So this here, Quaramonte Mine Corporation. So we can go up there and ask about it. So we know a couple of things. They said, the band members said there was a ship that was here before flying the flag of Condor Transglobal. They were not allowed near it. Then there's supposed to be an explosion at a mine. And there's a mine company here. Maybe we can ask them about an explosion that happened at their mine. So George is calling Nico to come over. Nico is walking around the market as well. And there is a nice looking lady here at the office with quite the red hair. It's almost orange. And there are a couple of guys here at the office as well working.
Hola, señora.
Hi. We were wondering...
I was talking to the lady, Chico.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Nicole Collard.
Concha Garcia. How can I help you, sister?
The corporation I represent is considering a major investment in Quaramonte. Your advice, as the head of an obviously successful concern, is precisely what I'm after. My assistant, Mr. Stobbart, has a few questions he'd like to ask you.
Nico throws the ball back to us. Why wouldn't Nico just want to ask the questions if she really wanted to talk to Nico rather than the guy? So see, there might be some, there's a power play here going on. Anyways, so where shall we? Oh my god, look at all these options here. Shall we start? Well, let's start with Condor Transglobal. That's kind of the main goal here, trying to find out where this company is. And well, then we can ask about the Mayan stone, I suppose, but let's ask about it.
Do you recognize the icon on this label?
Condor Transglobal.
Did the company operate here in Quaramonte?
Yes, they ran an old container ship, the Mayan Princess.
So there was there definitely was a ship, the Mayan Princess. So that's probably the same ship that the band members found. So let's ask more about Condor Transglobal.
Do you know who owned Condor Transglobal?
I've no idea.
She has no idea who owns the company. All right. Now, shall we ask about her, this mine?
Can you tell me about the accident at the mine?
Accident? It was sabotage. Somebody wanted my mine closed down for good.
She is saying it's a sabotage, not an accident.
Do you have any evidence that the mine was sabotaged?
Not yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. There'd been trouble at that mine for several months. The workforce was getting smaller every day. Someone had started a rumor among the men that the mine was cursed. Now the entire operation has been closed down.
Entire operation has been closed down, so they're out of business.
Where's the site of the mine?
Several days upriver at a remote area known as Teoculcan.
Teoculcan. So this mine, there's something going on there. It's been closed down, and she says it was because someone's trying to sabotage it. Not an act. Let's show her the mine, the stone, if she knows anything.
Does this stone mean anything to you?
I think it is a spirit stone carved by a Mayan priest, no? I don't know which of their many gods it represents.
A spirit stone. Okay, what about the statue?
Can you tell me anything about this statue?
It is Tezcatlipoca, the god of death and pestilence. That fetish would be considered by many to be a bad omen.
Ah, that's why they reacted so badly, the guys in the band. All right, well, can we... lump of coal? Do you want to see that?
You see this? It's my lucky piece of coal.
What's so lucky about it?
I'm not sure yet.
Good point. Ah, another Easter egg. The guy is wearing...
Nice buns.
Jesus. So he's wearing a shirt and only a really, really tight... I'm guessing it's a swim trunk? It's not just pants. Well, he's not wearing pants. But it's not underwear, is it? So that's what happens when you show the goal. So with this coal, we have a lot of Easter eggs. So he stood up and we saw that. Nico gave a... Shall we talk? Let's show her Nico's
Would you
panties.
be interested in these panties? They look about your size.
Is that your best line, Chico?
I'm serious. They were an unwanted gift.
Put them away before you get overexcited.
What about the eclipse?
Have you heard about the forthcoming eclipse?
I don't take much interest in things like that. One of the boys might know about it.
One of the boys might know about it. All right. What about... Do you want some dog biscuits?
Would you like a dog biscuit?
Would you like a smack in the mouth, Chico?
All right. Hostile. Jeez. We have nothing else to say, I suppose. There's this cupboard.
It was a
here.
store cupboard.
Could we access the cupboard? Or...
Keep out of there.
Nope. She'll tell us not to get into the cupboard.
That's where the explosives are stored.
Explosive? Interesting. We might need explosives sometime. Is it an earthquake? Yeah, earthquake. Is it a big one? No, small one. Sometimes there are earthquakes here. Okay. Anyways,
It was one of Conchita's posse of hunks.
So let's ask the secretary, the male secretary not wearing pants, why he's not wearing it. All right.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Consolidated Mining. If you are planning to stay in Quaramonte City, may I recommend the Consolidated Mining Experience, an interactive hands-on tour of one of our deepest mines, with talking tour guides available in 3 different languages.
Ooh.
A tour of a mine.
Well, this is a mining company. What else did you expect?
Good point, but still though, tour of mine. We didn't ask about Karzak. Well, didn't we ask about Karzak? But
Do you know where I could find Senor Karzak?
No, senor.
He has no idea. What about the...
Do you know anything about the
eclipse?
eclipse that's due soon?
Me? No, senor.
Oh, it seems like he doesn't know it either. We'll just stop this conversation. Although, will George say something?
How come you're not wearing any pants?
I feel more alert without them. Kind of perky.
And your boss doesn't mind?
She suggested it.
She suggested it. Well, isn't this sexism or what? Or you know, is this not a proper behavior at a workplace? You know, towards the other gender. Well, never. Nico just said nice buns. More simpler times. Let's just leave. But we got a second confirmation now that there was a ship, the Mayan princess, that's definitely under Condor Transglobal. So, and she's talking about a mine being sabotaged. So I don't know. There were still don't know really. We just know information about can we ask the guard about that ship? Maybe he knows anything.
There was nothing else I wanted to ask him.
No, there's nothing else. So we have a lot of locals here selling stuff. Man, woman, man. They're not really giving any names here. Man, band. A lot of stuff they're selling. Hello, who's this?
George Stobbart, well, of all the...
Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this is some coincidence, huh?
When you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the other side of the globe in Syria. He was an Army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged.
So yeah, it's Pearl Henderson. That was Dwayne Henderson's wife, and they were in Syria. We sold him. We sold Dwayne the statue, the fake statue. Got $50 on him to get and to pay Ultar for his something taxi. Luxurious taxi, or I forgot. Shall we ask about her first?
What brings you to Quaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywheres? The market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the Great Design, George.
So for them, they just drive. Obviously, we're in Central America, so they just drove from America all the way to. Drove from the United States all the way to Quaramonte. Shall I ask about Dwayne?
Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
We ain't speaking? Why aren't you speaking?
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoil sport sourpuss. I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right, and you don't want to go on your own.
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
Well, let's ask more about Dwayne.
Is Dwayne still working for the CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snoozer.
Don't you mean a sleeper?
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understood it.
So he does work for the CIA. So he actually is a special. He came off odd in Syria, but I don't know. Does he know anything about the stone?
What do you make of this stone, Pearl?
Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing supposed to be, a rabbit?
I believe it's a coyote.
Well, it sure is cute.
I was surprised she didn't ask me where she could buy one.
What about the statue? Does she want that?
What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Hoo-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
Sheridan, great name. Shall we show her the worm?
Look at this, Pearl. A tequila worm.
Don't you bring that thing anywheres near me, honey. I swear I'll scream like a hog on a hot plate.
Jesus. All right. What about the darts?
What does this mean to you, Pearl?
What cute little feathers. Why, if you had two of those, they'd sure make nice earrings.
This isn't intended for frivolous personal adornment, Pearl. It's a dart, tipped with a fast-acting, muscle-numbing poison.
Pardon me, I stand corrected, honey.
Sometimes I got the feeling that communication with Pearl was like sending signals out into space. Maybe, if you waited long enough, you'd get an intelligent answer back. But it was a long shot.
Such a mean observation. All right. What about the article about the total eclipse?
Take a look at this news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well, it's about an eclipse of the sun, which is due to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested.
Well, then let's just drop it then.
Catch you later, Pearl.
All right, so Pearl is here, and with Dwayne somewhere, so shall we go look around for Dwayne and talk to him? She said they ain't speaking because she wants to go see the pyramids, but Dwayne's saying he has to stay. He cannot go, so... Let's see, here's a big truck, and that sure looks like Dwayne.
It was a beat-up old wreck of an army truck.
Yep.
It was Pearl's husband, Dwayne.
Well, then let's talk to him.
Hey, Mr. Henderson. Good to see you again.
Do I know you, son?
George Stobbart, remember? In Syria? I sold you a statue.
I remember that. Pearl was mighty vexed when the paint came off.
Look, I'm sorry. I'll give you back the $50.
No, you suckered me fair and square.
So, obviously, yeah, like I told you guys about this before in the other episodes. Like, the only actor, the remaining actor from Rogue Sword 1 is George Stobbart. No one else. I mean, Rob Saxon for George Stobbart. All the voices, even Dwayne and Pearl Henderson, they have new voices, new actors for them. So, shall we talk about Dwayne?
Are you still working for you know who?
You know I can't talk about my work, George. That's between me and Uncle Sam.
So now he's really, into the CIA thing. Not the greeting card business, like he tried to fool us with. What about Pearl?
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
She'll get over it. So ask about the truck.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
So she's the one that drives. Okay, interesting.
Why did you bring a huge truck like that?
George, I'm on a top-secret classified mission for Uncle Sam. This truck is a rolling bomb. 400 pounds of nitrate fertilizer with a plastique initiator. They'll hear the bang in China. Gee, I'm really looking forward to this.
A bomb? Why would we have a bomb in his truck? What the hell is that all about? What can we ask? Okay, does he know anything about Condor Transglobal since he's part of the you-know-who, CIA?
Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
Sure I do. You have to get up pretty early to catch Dwayne with his pants down.
What? You beat me to it?
Condor Transglobal is all wound up. Seems like my investigations scared them off.
Huh, so he knew about them as well, but he said they're all wound up. It's no longer here. What about Karzak? Does he know anything?
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
No.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Nico.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity. I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
I see. What about... does he know about the music, traditional music?
Did you know that traditional music is illegal in Quaramonte?
Is that so? Seems reasonable to me.
No, really. The leader of the band in the square has been imprisoned just because of the music he played.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but that fella, Miguel, he's an agitator.
He's an agitator? Let's ask more about Miguel.
What's the real reason the musician was imprisoned?
Handed out subversive literature at the mines. That so-called general was waiting for Miguel when he got back into town. Marched him off to jail at gunpoint on a charge of inciting a riot.
A commie? No idea. Let's see. Shall we give him some dog biscuits?
Would you like a biscuit, Dwayne?
Oh no, those gourmet dog snacks bring me out in a rash.
You've tried them?
They were on special offer. Pearl bought a whole crate. When I asked her if she was thinking of keeping a dog too, she just laughed.
Can't believe people would eat dog biscuits. Like, okay. What about the coal?
Would you like to borrow my lucky piece of coal, Dwayne?
What's so lucky about it?
Well, we made it to Quaramonte in one piece.
When you've been here a few days, you won't look on that as luck.
Meaning Quaramonte is not that nice? What about the panties?
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
No, a guy we knew in Paris bought them for her.
Oh, you're a threesome then. Why are you looking at me like that, George?
Forget it.
Because it's disgusting. A disgusting image of Lopin, Nico, and George in a threesome. Dwayne, what the hell? The General. took the guy back to, I'm guessing, this general might be then part of the policia? I have no idea. Well, this is the police station. We can ask more about what actually this Miguel did. And then obviously more about Condor Transglobal. We need to know, it seems like the company isn't here anymore, but there was a ship. And then we need to ask more about let's see,
I have done just as I have been instructed, Professor.
Professor?
With the mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavations.
Mine closed down?
Ah, I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
Martyr out of that man. I wonder who that was. You called him a professor?
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobbart from California.
But what is this? An angel come down to earth.
Nicole Collard. Enchanté, mon général.
Mon général? Oh, he kissed her on the hand.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look,
George,
we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
Tourist information, general... So there's a... What? So the guy is the general, but also has the tourist information. Okay, we have a lot of questions for this guy. A lot of questions. So shall we start with Condor Transglobal?
Take a look at this label.
Si, senor. Condor Transglobal.
Can you tell me where to find their offices?
No, senor. I never heard of them, and neither did Ronaldo.
The lady at the mining company told us a ship belonging to Condor was here recently.
Conchita Garcia is crazy. If there had been a ship, do you think I wouldn't have noticed?
He's denying that there was a ship. Let's ask more about Condor. The guys in the band, they say there was a ship with the same...
Are you sure you never heard of Condor?
Oh, yes.
The company is registered here in Quaramonte City.
You are mistaken, senorita.
The musicians out in the square say that a ship flying the Condor flag was birthed here.
They are simple peasants. They will go along with anything you say in the hopes of parting you from your money.
He's obviously hiding something. Let's ask
I
more.
believe Condor is run by a man named Karzak.
Wrong again, senor. Karzak has nothing to do with anything called Condor. Whoever he is.
Do you keep a record of companies registered in Quaramonte?
Of course, senorita. Unfortunately, all the records were destroyed by a flash flood.
Really? How convenient. So we can't even ask about Karzak anymore. What about the mining, the accident at the mine?
I hear there was an accident at the mine a few months ago.
That's correct.
A lot of men killed, weren't there?
A few.
30?
Barely 1% of the working population.
Cold take. Alright, can we ask more about him, I suppose?
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
I can see that, General.
Alright, what about the musician, the music being
Is
banned?
it true there's a restriction on music in Quaramonte?
Yes, there is. An emergency measure introduced by Nuestra Senora.
Folk music is a link with the past for some of these people. Take away their musical roots and what do they got left?
Easy listening.
You think easy listening could replace a musical heritage hundreds of years old?
Why not? It happened in your country.
Ha 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 ha. Touche. Anyways, what about the ship? This is probably not the Condor ship.
We've
though.
had enough of Quaramonte and we want out.
Am I stopping you?
The guy at the docks tells me I need an exit visa.
Ask Ronaldo. He'll make the arrangements. That's what he's here for.
So we can ask the other guy about exit visa. All right, he's stood up and went to the fax machine or whatever it is. Anyways, okay. We could ask this Ronaldo guy about it. Who was this guy, this professor he was talking to? Shall we find out?
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Professor Ubier, a visitor, senor, like yourselves.
Did you say Ubier?
Si, senor. Professor Ubier, a French archaeologist.
French archaeologist. That's him. That's the guy.
What's Ubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is planning an expedition to some Mayan ruins. He came to see me to get an excavation permit.
I see. Well, we still have a lot of things we can ask him about, but don't we need to catch Ubier and talk to him? I think we'll stop here.
I'll be back.
First of all, so this is
It was General Graciento, Quaramonte's reigning slime ball.
So they were looking at this chart.
It was the
here.
map which the general had been showing to Professor Ubier.
Let's look at it.
Senor. Leave that chart alone.
We're not allowed to see the chart. He will tell us not to look at it. Ronaldo would be the one to give us brown wheat with the brown card or whatever. But let's just leave and see if we can find Ubier somewhere. Ubier. Professor Ubier, where did he go? And we can talk to Nico now. And we can talk about that chart.
Did you notice that chart on the police station wall?
Yes, it looked like a map to me, but I couldn't make out the details.
Whatever it was, the general didn't want us to see it.
What about asking about Professor Ubier?
That man we saw talking to the general was Ubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Ubier, but he sounded nothing like the man in the police station.
That was probably
Maybe
Pablo.
the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte.
Good instinct, George. Too much of a coincidence. We're gonna ask her about the stone.
Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh.
Not a chihuahua. It's a coyote. Shall we ask about Lobino?
Labino tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something?
What about the general?
You came on a little strong with the general.
I was merely flattering his ego, Georges. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe. But that guy's weakness isn't in his foot.
No, it's in his cock! Oh, sorry. I'm trying to be more... trying to keep this a little bit more, PG friendly. Never mind. I feel like I'm turning into Gilbert Gottfried here. Yes. And then the general said, "You throw orange wrenches to my ass." Rest in peace, Gilbert. One of my favorite comedians ever. All right. Anyways, we can ask her about if she wants dog biscuits.
Would you like a biscuit?
Gourmet dog? Have you been eating those things, Georges?
Sure, they're great.
What about the bank statement?
Take a look at this.
Mon Dieu! Where did you get that kind of money?
Not us.
It's not mine. I found that statement at Ubier's house.
Yeah, and we should confront Ubier with it. What about... There's all these different things. We probably don't have to ask about all of them right now. What about the worm? Maybe a little bit?
Take a look at this, Nico.
That's disgusting, Georges. Why are you carrying it around with you?
I don't know. I just can't seem to part with it.
It's a weird... Anyways, we don't really have to talk to her more about these other items. So, let's see. Where did Professor Ubier go? Ubier, there he is. He's talking to Dwayne.
It was that suspect archaeologist, Ubier.
Suspect. So let's go up to him and just Rib him a new one. Professor Ubier.
Professor Ubier?
Yes? Who are you?
My name is Stobbart. George Stobbart.
Where do we begin? Shall we just go straight to talking about Pablo? Or, well, that's the guy who was at his house.
Have you ever employed a Central American butler or servant?
I've never employed any kind of servant, monsieur.
Shall we ask him more about Condor Transglobal?
Do you see this label?
Yes. It refers to a company named Condor. What of it?
I traced that company here to Quaramonte. Do you know where I can find the offices of Condor Transglobal?
The company no longer exists. They went bankrupt recently.
Coincidence? Or is it?
I have proof that you are directly involved with Condor.
I used them as shippers to transport artifacts to a gallery in Paris. Beyond that, I have no connection with the company, which, as I said, no longer exists.
What about the bank?
Take a look at this, Professor. What have you got to say about that?
Where did you get this?
Never mind that. How do you explain these withdrawals?
I left my financial affairs in the hands of my secretary.
Including the withdrawal of funds in cash from your personal account?
I trust Gwyneth implicitly.
And why Marseille? Why the very place my girlfriend was taken?
That's obvious, Stobbart. We are both the victims of the same devious plot.
What plot?
I have no idea.
What kind of an answer? Let's ask more about Nico.
What do you know about my girlfriend's abduction?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She was invited to your mansion in Paris.
Not by me, she wasn't. I haven't been home for nearly 7 months.
7 months? Let's ask
What
more
are you
about it.
doing in Quaramonte, Professor?
Seeking Mayan artifacts. Central American history has been my life's work.
Alright, what about Karzak?
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Yes, I know him. In fact, if it wasn't for Karzak, I wouldn't be here.
What?
He's financing my expedition.
The man is financing... So Karzak is financing his expedition. They're both in it. They're so both in it. Do we even dare to show him the stone now? Sure, why not?
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
Where did you get that?
That's my business.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale.
See, he's really desperate for that stone. Yeah, he's definitely not... Something's not right here. What about this stone?
Can you
this statue?
identify this statue, Professor?
Oh, yes. Tezcatlipoca, the Lord of Darkness.
A Central American god, right?
A supreme deity. Tezcatlipoca means, literally, smoking mirror. There. You see the mirror shield in his left hand? The Mayans believed he could look into the mirror and see into the hearts of men. He was the wind which came howling in the night in search of victims. And victims they gave him by the 1,000.
Human sacrifices?
Men, women, children, animals, anything that bled. The steps of his temple ran red with the blood of sacrifices. The Mayans have a legend that says he'll return one day. I hope I'm not around to see it.
I think we now know why the game is called The Smoking Mirror. So it's all about this Tezcatlipoca. This god of like death and destruction. Anyways, what about the eclipse?
Do you know anything about this eclipse, Professor?
Of course. It's not the reason I'm here in Quaramonte, but I'm looking forward to seeing it all the same.
Okay. We can ask more about the eclipse.
What's your interest in the eclipse, Professor?
Oh, it's purely a layman's curiosity. History's my subject, not astronomy. But I've been fascinated by the movements of the heavenly bodies since I was a child. I wouldn't miss a total eclipse for the world.
Really? Okay. Shall we ask more about the eclipse?
Does the eclipse have some special significance for you?
From me? No. For the ancient Mayans, it marked the end of the 5th age.
Perhaps we should be celebrating.
Ah, no. The end of each age heralds destruction on a global scale. The 5th is the final age. ending in the total destruction of the Earth.
God damn. We can ask about his wife.
Tell me about your wife, Professor.
Please, I don't want to talk about her.
Can we say... Oh, now we have the option of a gun. Did you kill your wife?
You shot her, didn't you?
No. I loved Carol. She meant the world to me.
Okay. We can ask about dog biscuits.
Would you like a biscuit?
No, thank you.
You should, they're good. I can't get enough of these things.
Ugh, he's eating it. Okay, we're not getting anything more out of this Professor Uber, but he was like looking sideways at us. All right. So that guy is definitely in league with Karsak, but then again, you know, he said Condor Transglobal went out of business, but the general was just completely denying it ever exists. I wonder what our next action is. Should we go up the stairs back to the mining company and see if we can talk to Conchita? And we can ask her about Professor Ubier. Okay.
Do you know Professor Ubier?
Yes. I understand he is about to embark on an archaeological expedition. He hired some equipment from me earlier today.
I overheard him talking to the general. I think they're working together.
What? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have hired out the equipment. Now, why would the general be interested in an archaeologist?
That's a good point. That's the only thing we can talk about for now. We need to find out more about Ubia and the general, I suppose. I don't know. Can we talk to Nico a bit more about what we found out from Professor Ubia? No,
take a look at this.
We just have the article
An
about
eclipse of the sun. Why the sudden interest in astronomy?
I found the cutting in Ubier's house.
Apparently, it's only visible from Central America.
Don't ask more.
Guess what this is? Go on, guess.
It's wrought iron, probably from a chimney stack on an old stove.
Well, I suppose it could be. How did she know that?
My grandfather used to work in a foundry.
He thought that, George. If you're listening to this, George thought to himself, how did she know that? And then she gave her answer. Well done. Shall we ask Pearl more about Dwayne and his truck? Let's ask about the truck.
I hear you drove all the way to Quaramonte in a truck.
That's right. You would not believe the state of some of those roads. Makes me downright sad to think there's still some places you can't reach in an automobile. In this day and age, you'd think there'd be decent highways just about anywhere folk choose to go.
Let's ask more about the truck.
Did you know that the truck was full of explosives?
Whatever gave you that idea, as if I couldn't guess?
Your husband. He was exaggerating, wasn't he?
Sometimes I wonder how I'm gonna cope with Dwayne's over-fertile imagination.
So it's not really explosives? Well. Anyways, let's ask about the general.
Have you met the guy who calls himself the General?
No, I haven't. Is he a real general?
I guess so. He wears a lot of medals on his chest. The wrong side of his chest. At least for any army I'd ever seen.
Interesting.
Catch you later, Pearl.
So, what?
Hey, Nico!
We're going back into the police station. Let's check on the general and ask him, do you realize you have the medals? He has the medals on his right side, so they're usually on the left side? Is that the case? I have no idea. Just asking. Let's ask the general more questions here. You're gonna ask about the map.
Do you have a map of Quaramonte?
A map? I'm sorry, senor, but I don't.
What about the one on the wall?
Ah, that is an archaeological survey map, senor. Not suitable for tourists.
Why can we not see the map? Can I ask about the pyramids?
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, senor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour. When he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Alright, so this guy, Ronald, we can probably talk to him about taking Pearl to the pyramid. I will show him the panties.
What do you think of these panties, General.
Oh boy, fabuloso!
They're yours if you'll tell me all you know about Karzak.
I told you, I never heard of the guy. Do I get the panties now? I told you all I know.
You told me nothing.
What about give him a dog biscuit?
Would you like a biscuit?
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, every man has his price.
Mine is more than a dog cookie, Senor Stobbart.
Do you have a price? What about the eclipse?
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, Senor.
So I'm not sure if we should show him the stone. If he's in some, if he and Professor Ubi are in some coalition with Karzak and they really want the stone, maybe we shouldn't show him the stone.
I'll be
But
back.
then maybe we might have to show him the stone to make some progress. Let's look at Ronaldo here.
He had the eyes of a cocker spaniel set in a face like a deflated souffle. I couldn't help wondering what had driven him to work for a man like the General.
Me neither. Let's talk to Ronaldo here.
Hi, I'm George Stobbart.
Hello, senor. How can I help you?
Let's ask about the prisoner.
I'd like
first.
to visit your prisoner.
Condemned prisoners aren't allowed visitors.
Condemned?
To death. He is to be executed. Knowing my luck, I will probably have to shoot him myself.
Amnesty International's gonna hear about this.
Let's ask more about him.
I thought Miguel was arrested for playing the wrong kind of music.
Si, senor, he was.
And that carries the death penalty?
No. You think we're crazy? While being questioned, he confessed to being an anti-government agent.
Anti-government agent. So that's the big thing. Let's ask about the ship.
I'm trying to get out of Quaramonte.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be able to buy back half my family.
Never mind them. What about my visa?
We don't take visa.
I didn't ask if you take a visa. I want you to give me a visa.
I can't help you, senor. I don't understand these things.
What? Let's go ask about the pyramids.
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, senor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect.
All right. So it's perfect. Let's ask more about it. I'm wondering if we're probably going over the hour today.
Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can't. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
Okay, so he can't leave when the general is there. Okay. So, I mean, these are not really necessary
So long.
to ask about the dog biscuit. So we're not able to get
I
in
wasn't going
there.
to try investigating the passage while the General was sat there.
Yeah, and we couldn't look at the chart when the general was there. We need to know more about that map. That's for sure. Shall we go to Dwayne and see if he knows something more? Maybe Professor Uber. No, he's no longer there. So the professor is gone. So now let's ask Dwayne. Let's ask Dwayne about what he heard about the professor. Well, actually, nothing about the professor. We can ask about the general.
Do you think the General was involved with Condor?
Hell no. And if he's a general, I'm a Buddhist. No, that fella's just a mouthpiece for the real power in Quaramonte.
Just a mouthpiece. Who's the real power?
So the General is nothing but a puppet?
He's like Pinocchio before he met the Blue Rinse Fairy. Strictly strings and wood.
Who's pulling the strings?
His mother.
Oh.
Better known as La Presidenta, the dictator.
Presidenta. Okay, so she is the one in control. Let's ask more about Condor.
Did you find any evidence of Condor's drug smuggling operations?
Drugs? Hell no! Condor was a cover for the illegal export of Mayan artifacts.
Illegal export of Mayan artifacts? Let's ask more.
So who was behind Condor Transglobal?
It was registered in the name of Edan.
Did you get the guy?
I don't think he ever existed. Edan backwards spells Nady, Spanish for nobody.
So, fake name? What about the musician?
Is Miguel the reason you're here?
Pretty smart, George. I was supposed to make contact with him. By the time I found him, though, he was in jail. I've been trying to figure out a way to get him out since then.
Sounds good to me. Count me in.
Good man, George. All I need is a detonator.
A detonator?
How come you brought a truckload of explosives but no detonator?
Call me old-fashioned, but I say packing trunks is woman's work. I left
Very
the packing
old-fashioned.
to Pearl, and I can't find a darn thing. Just hope she remembered to bring my denture polish. I'd sure hate to arrive back in the States with tar on my teeth.
What a mix-up that would be. So, he wants us to help us get a detonator and get the prisoner out of Miguel. So I'm guessing Miguel, they found out that Miguel was working for Dwayne? Like it was a contact for the CIA? I don't know. Could be that. But obviously, the detonator is in that cupboard, right? That was Conchita. What Conchita was talking about? So now we can ask about the detonator.
Do you have any kind of detonating device in stock?
Sure. They're kept in that cupboard.
I don't suppose you have one spare?
I can't simply give you a device like that, no without a damn good reason.
Not without a damn good reason? What about the chart?
The general has a chart in his office, which he was discussing with Ubier.
Perhaps that chart will tell us where they're heading.
Maybe, but I can't get anywhere near it while the general and his sidekick are there.
Can't get anywhere near while the general and his sidekick are. So we need to get rid of the general. How are we gonna get rid of the general? Well, let's see. I'm not gonna play too long. I know I will. You will not be able to finish Quaramonte off in one episode, I think. So I think it's time to talk to Nico. Can you use your charm on the general? Let me see. Where did he go? There he is. Nico. That's what I thought. Let's ask about the chart.
Could you distract the general while I took a look at that chart?
You're kidding. Did you see the way he was leering at me?
Yeah, you'd make a great snake charmer. Come on, 5 minutes is all I need.
Well, maybe. But it's your harebrained scheme. You do the talking.
We're going back to the police station with Nico. We're trying to get her to trying to get the general out of the police station by, I don't know. We'll find out. Some kind of a distraction, I suppose. Try to convince him Nico wants to talk to him and spend time with him. Let's go talk to the General Graciento and say Nico wants to talk to him. Nico.
My girlfriend has a favor she wants to ask you, General.
For you, my dear. Anything.
He stands up. This weird music.
I've changed my mind.
Oh, no, you haven't. She's embarrassed about asking you for an interview, General.
Oh, yes.
An interview with me? Fabuloso!
Well, I want to write a story about you.
You hear that, Ronaldo? An exclusive glossy spread about your beloved general.
Si, Signor General.
Look after things here. I'm going back to my apartment and I don't want to be disturbed.
I'll get you for this, George Stobbart.
Don't worry. If you're gone for more than a couple of hours, I'll come and get you.
A couple of hours?
And there goes Nico with the general. So now we've gotten rid of the general, but if we're gonna look at the chart, I'm pretty sure Ronaldo is gonna tell us to go away.
No, Signor. The General said nobody must see that chart.
He won't know unless you tell him.
You don't know him, Signor. He will worm it out of me as easily as he de-waxes his ear.
Okay. I'd have to get rid of him.
Yeah, we need to get rid of him, but we know how, right? Pearl wants to see the pyramids, right? And now he could go, since the general isn't there, right?
Would you take my friend to the ruins now the general's gone?
I'd be honored, Signor.
Thanks. I'll go get her.
Let's go get her. I forgot to do the double click. In Broken Sword 2, you can double click to get out of places faster. You couldn't do that in Shadow of the Templars. Let's ask Pearl if she wants to go and see the pyramids.
I've made the arrangements for your visit to the temple, Pearl.
Oh, that's just great, George. Why don't you come too, honey?
I'd love to, but right now I have to save the world.
Literally. You need to save the world. Alright. So, in we go with Pearl. He's going to talk to Ronaldo here.
Listen, sweetie. I'm looking for an official guide to take me to the old pyramid.
For a lovely lady, I would go to the ends of the earth. For you, I will go as far as the pyramid and back. But what about your husband?
What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Let's go, Beanpole.
Beanpole. Weird way to go. And there he goes. Hey, nice work, Pearl. Now we've gotten rid of the assistant as well.
As Pearl and Ronaldo set out for the ruined pyramid, I prepared to search the police station.
Let's search indeed, and we'll start with the charts.
It was the map the general hadn't wanted me to see.
And now we can see it. What on earth is on?
It looked like a geological survey map showing the land to the southeast of Quaramonte City. About 60 miles inland and upstream was an area marked Teoculcan.
Teoculcan was the area where the mine was, right? That's what she said, at least. We can also probably now go in and talk to Miguel, right? And there's Miguel.
It was Miguel, the musician.
He's in a cell here with the noose.
It was a length of rope, knotted in a hangman's noose.
Yikes. Let's talk to Miguel.
I'm George Stobbart. You're Miguel the musician, aren't you?
Ex-musician, senor. My career is finished.
Going to jail could be the boost your career needed.
Senor, I would rather die than live with this shame.
We can ask about Karzak.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
Yes. The old man spoke of him.
The foreigner? Professor Ubier?
That's right. This man Karzak is Ubier's boss.
What about the noose?
Why is that noose hanging from the bars?
Ronaldo strung it up for me to hang myself. Don't cry for me, Senor Stobbart. When I am dead, the goddess will take my soul to rest in paradise.
He said, "Don't cry for me, Senor Stobbart," and then the don. It sounds like don't cry for me, Argentina. I don't know if there's a play on words there or something. We couldn't really say anything else to Miguel. He's just in there, and we don't have the key, obviously, free him out. But we could get at the detonator. Maybe she will give us the detonator after we tell her what we found inside the police station. Tell her more about that map. Up the stairs, double click. Let's keep a move on. I want to finish this soon. Let's talk to Conchita here and tell her more about the chart that
I got a good look at that chart in the police station. It's a map of Quaramonte.
Does it tell us where Ubier is heading?
Yeah, a place called Teoculcan.
That's the site of the mine. I wonder why they're being so secretive about Ubier's plans. One thing's for sure. If the general's involved, they're up to no good. I'd like to talk to that musician Miguel. Take the detonator and get him out of that jail.
And there we go. We're gonna take the detonator and get Miguel out of jail. Folks, things are really moving now. We got the detonator. And let's exit then and give it to Dwayne, obviously. Well, then again, does Dwayne actually have explosions or not? We'll find out. I'll probably play. Am I playing 1.5 hours today? Sure, why not? I want to reach a certain point and then stop. We got a detonator. Let's talk to Dwayne here and show him the detonator.
Here is the detonator, Dwayne.
Keep your voice down, George. You want everyone to know. you'd best go and warn Miguel that the U.S. cavalry's on the way.
Okay.
So we have to go back inside and tell Miguel about the detonator that we're gonna blow up the side of the wall, probably. Oh no, wait, what's going on? I'm not gonna quit. What the hell? Not yet. First I need to save, and first I need to talk to Miguel and tell him we're gonna get him out of here.
What is it? What is happening?
We're getting out of here.
Who's we? They've sent the Delta Force?
Nope.
The Impossible Missions Force?
Don't make me sick. Much better.
Who then?
A retired greetings card salesman from Ohio.
I'm doomed.
Oh, Ronaldo's back. And he's pointing a gun at George.
I should have known you'd be trouble the moment I saw you.
Look, I can explain everything.
Get in that cell, now.
And what if I refuse?
He'll shoot you.
Okay, here I am, going quietly into the cell.
That was a very short trip to the pyramid.
Very wise, North Americano scum.
One of the reasons I hate guns so much is the way they make people so damned impolite.
Yeah. Doesn't have to talk to you kindly when he has a gun.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation, Senor Stobbart.
Go polish your weapon, Ronaldo.
Quite the insult. George has been locked up.
This was part of your plan, right?
Well, in a manner of speaking, no. I was all out of ideas. It was up to Nico now.
It is up to Nico.
So, here we are.
And here's Nico in
You've changed.
the
I
general's
thought
apartment.
I would slip into something more comfortable.
The stench of cheap cologne rolled over me like tear gas.
So, what do you want to know about me? Ask and I will answer. I will deny you nothing.
The guy is now wearing like a blue jeans and a
I am a very
white
giving
shirt.
person.
You can see his chest.
How nice for your friends.
Showing it off. No chest hairs though.
Your eyes are glittering like stars.
Nico's trying to move away from him on the sofa,
This
but
damn
he's...
cologne was making my eyes water.
He moves, but he slides
I was
closer
running
and
out of
closer.
sofa.
Nico stands up. And...
As spirited as you are beautiful, I admire that.
As long as he admired it from afar.
And here I think we'll end things because this is the first part in the game where we actually play as Nicole Collard. So let us just save the game. Save. Been saved. And then end it here. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what will happen next. George is now locked up, but we can now play as Nico for the first time. And it's not the only time in this game. Nico actually has quite the part in this game. So yeah, it's quite the part in it. So I think until next time, we'll continue with we'll start the next episode with Nico's first try. Nico's first try. Although technically she's in the new version of Broken the Shadow of the Templars. All the DLC, all the director's cut material. But anyways, I think I'll end it here. So this has been the third episode of Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and tune in for more episodes here on the JLR YouTube podcast. Until next time, you guys take care. Bye-bye. See you. Take care.